about the festival of lights that are kind of happening all over the world in this time frame, when we start to see darker days coming. And so today begins Diwali, which is a Hindu festival, but also celebrated by Sikhs and Jainists and some Buddhists. And it's a festival of light. And there's a few things. It's a 5-day festival of, celebration, lots of singing and dancing and lighting of candles and beautiful things. And it's a celebration of a few things. So Lakshmi is the Hindu goddess of wealth and fertility, and this is the time of the harvest of crops, and so there's this sense of abundance, celebrating the abundance. And also, as we go into the darker times, as the days are getting longer, we have a lot of festivals of light that kind of shine forth. So in the Hindu tradition, Rama and Sita, one of the reasons why there's light, I guess, is that there's a lighting of the path as they returned from a 14-year exile. And then in the Sikh tradition, Diwali is the annual celebration of the release of one of their main leaders. I can't remember his name, but in the 1600s, he was released from prison after a while. And then I think Durga, there's a story of Durga destroying a demon in this time frame. And then, of course, I think there's also in the Jainist tradition, this is the day where their leader, I don't know much about these paths, but the leader of the Jainist, the founder of the Jainist tradition, found moksha, or enlightenment, on this day. So it has a lot of significant meaning for a lot of a lot of religions and a lot of cultures around the world. And I don't think that's by accident that there's a lot of celebration of harvest at this time of year in a lot of traditions, and also the bringing of the light. So in my daughter's school, at the Waldorf school, they this week celebrate, they have it's not a festival, but a experience called the Lantern Walk. And the kids all make these handmade lanterns, beautiful handmade lanterns. And they meet at the school in the evening, and in darkness and in quiet, children light their lanterns with real candles, which is very special for a little child. And they walk through the streets of the neighborhood of the school, shining their light in the darkness. And there's these beautiful lanterns, and there's lots of songs that we sing. And it's a wonderful tradition. And in the beginning of it, they celebrate, they tell the story of Saint Martin, who is a Christian saint who is the patron saint of the poor. I guess he was a soldier, and he was guarding a gate, and he found a beggar at the door of the gate of the city, and he ripped his cloak in half and gave half of his cloak to this beggar. And then he had a dream, and in the dream, the beggar was really, the divinity that's within all of us. And so it's this sense of that we care for each other at this time of year, that it's the time to come into community and to share our lights, since the darkness is coming and the cold is coming, to know that we are not alone and that we can shine our light with each other. So I love that there's so many beautiful traditions at this time of year for many different cultures to celebrate the sense of connection and bringing our light into the world. So whatever your traditions are in your family at this time of year, maybe it's just simply you light candles in your house, which you haven't done in a while, or you have some sense of understanding that there's more darkness, and we need to be the light. So close your eyes for a moment and think about any tradition you have in your mind, or in your family, or in your culture, that helps you share some light in the darkness. So close your eyes and drop in. And as your eyes close and you start to feel that sense of darkness, that the light, she is shielded by your lids a bit. Let's drop in and feel that sense of inner self. Get to know your breath. Find that centered place within you. Imagine that your heart, or anywhere you feel to be a centering place in your body, it could be the center of your mind, or your heart, or your belly, or your pelvis, or your left knee, anywhere you want. Just see if you can sense and imagine a ball of light. Let the light be a warm light, like candlelight, instead of LED light. Like, have it be something soothing, brilliant. Imagine warmth, this little internal sun, and just begin to let this ball of light shine a little brighter, a little more expansive in all directions. And it really doesn't matter where you're centering in your body, but let it be a centering place where you expand from this place. Feel your shoulders drop down. Feel the spine grow in space. Let the palms of your hands relax. Feel the experience of breathing as part of this cultivation of light. And think about, as you cultivate an intention for your practice, what is your gift? What is your light that you get to bestow on the world? And how can your practice support the cultivation of your unique gifts? And our gifts are many, but think of one in particular that helps you feel connected, in service to the world, that you become a supportive force for another, maybe one person, maybe an animal, maybe many people. And see if you can set your intention for your practice to support this, to be the underlying support for cultivating this. How are you a lamp in the darkness? All right, place your hands together at your heart. Let's bow into the space. Find that centered sun again and glow. Breathe there, expand there. And then release the hands. Let's come on to our back. So as you find your way to your mat, let's enjoy our practice today. Oh, always, let's enjoy our practice. But can you feel that there's something nourishing, that your practice gives you support, kind of like a river that's below you, supporting you? Okay, so as you stretch out on the floor, notice how your body feels today. Feel free to stretch and move and lengthen and open your body out. Okay, and then relax for a moment. Okay, release your arms down. And then place your limbs in a comfortable distance away from your center, whatever that feels like to you. So just find a happy medium of where your limbs want to rest, so that everything's at ease. All your joint spaces find a sense of relaxation. And then imagine, even if you had your centered sun somewhere else in your body, imagine it now radiating from your navel, from your center body. And that can be a subtle shift, above the navel, below the navel, right at the navel. Just find where your center feels right to you. And then on your in-breath, imagine that you're expanding energetically to your crown and your tail from this centered place, and then back again on your exhale. So start to feel the wave, the energetic wave that moves from your center to your crown and tail and then returns. The breath is this beautiful wave of energy in our body. Harness that wave to feel that you're actually moving energy from your center outward. And now see if you can feel the energetic connection from your navel down through both legs. Just feel into the connection you have there. Maybe it's riding on the breath, maybe it's just riding inside your mind, but see if you can sense the physicality of it as well, the sense of connection from your center. And let's try one leg at a time. So move from your navel center all the way to your right foot. Find that line of connection. Maybe your body's moving a little bit, maybe it's just energetic. And then hug back from your foot into your navel and move to the other side, navel to your left toes and back to center. You can ride the breath to do this, just kind of going back and forth between one leg and the other leg. And a lot of times we have the physical feeling of our femur bones being grounded into our pelvis, but see if you can feel the connection higher, all the way, like your pelvis begins at your belly button. Can you feel that your limbs really are connected to your center instead of just to the joint of your hip? And then relax that, and let's come into the upper body now. So navel moving through your ribs, out your sternum, your shoulder blades, your collarbones, into your arm bones, out through your fingers, and then returning from your fingers back to your center. And for some of us, we may be able to move beyond the shoulder, the ball and socket joint of the shoulders out to the fingers. We might feel the sternum to our fingers, but let's see if you can go even beyond that from the navel. Find the pathway, navel to ribs, to sternum, to collarbones, to shoulder blades, to arm bones, to finger bones. And just find that sense of connection, that everything is connected. All 6 of your limbs, your crown, your tail, your legs, your arms, are all joined like a center brain of a starfish outward from the center, and then from the center, or from the outward edges back to the center. So now feel all 6 of your limbs stretch. So arms, legs, crown, tail. See if you can stretch away from the navel center and then come back toward the navel center. So this is, called navel radiation. If you were in class with me yesterday, we talked a lot about the kind of primal developmental movement patterns. And navel radiation is absolutely one of them that starts in utero. So just see if you can sense that you're moving from the center place and back. Remember, when we were in utero, the center, our navel, was where we were fed. That was where all of our growth arose from our umbilical cord. So see if you can feel the echo of that nourishment that originally that was our source. So see if you can feel that sense of source as you move away from it and return back home to it. And what is your breath doing as you kind of undulate outward and then back inward? All right, let's create a little bit subtlety in this movement. So how about right arm and left leg expanding away? Find that cross diagonal line and then back to center. Left arm and right leg moving away from center and back. All right, now let's find just ease and breathe into the belly. What part of those lines feel foreign to you? So, when we were experimenting with connecting the center to the different lines of the body. Which ones felt like, oh yeah, I got that. I know my navel to my right foot. Maybe I don't know my navel to my left arm. Like, see, did you have a sense that one had a little bit of a missing link anywhere? So let's start our starfish like we often do in the beginning of class. Stretch from the navel out to your edges. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And then exhale, and we're going to bring the knees in. Keep your head down just for a moment and rock. And just let your back stretch and be soothed. Rocking from side to side. Find some ease. Feel the compression in your knees and your hips. Okay. All right, and then stretch out to a starfish. Lengthen and widen. Exhale and draw in. Head up this time. A couple of more times. Feel, instead of just kind of doing this without sensation, do it with sensation. Can you connect the dots from your center to your edges and then bring those edges back into the center? A couple of more times. Notice, are you missing any links? Is there any limb that has lost its connection? Bring yourself back in. Okay, one last time. Can you feel that this is a very old movement pattern in the body to reach out and to draw back in? All right, let's roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. Okay, so let's find our way. Start swishing and swaying and moving the spine. Maybe you want to go right into some cat-cows. Maybe you'd rather do some other movement patterns first. So depending on how your body's feeling today, just loosen, go where you want first. Go where the body's calling for something first. Make sure you include in there some just general cat-cows where you feel the full movement of your spine in flexion and extension. Stay inside of your breath. And then let's find our way to child's pose. So take the arms out in front of you, drop your hips back toward the heels, maybe rock a little bit into your left side, into your right side, just get a little fluidity in your body. Have your knees as close or as far as what your body likes today, and then rest. Deep breaths here. Soften your torso toward the floor. Relax your forehead. Let it rest on something. If not, the floor may be a block. Breathing well. See if you can feel now the back of your body expanding. Can you feel that your navel center is not just your belly button in the front, but it's all the way through center of the body, so you can feel it in the back of you as well. All right, let's walk the hands over to one side. Feel the stretch and lengthen. Relax your skull. Breathing well. And then come back over to the other side. Drop some weight into the hips. Relax the base of the skull. Breathe into the side of your body. Open your ribs. And then come back to center. One more time, swishing around in your spine. And then find your way up to dog pose as you're ready. All right, so spread out your feet. Spread out your hands. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Feel the reach of the heart lifting toward the pelvis. Relax your neck. Find a full inhale. Find a full exhale. All right, feel free to move around. This pose can be rocked. You can bend the knee. What feels really nice to awaken the body? Can you ground through your hands well? So feel the roots of the index finger mounds, root down the hands, rise up through your spine. While you're here and you're breathing, can you feel that sense of radiation from your center? Feeling that sense of yield into the floor as you move out into your limbs?
Can you feel the sense of coming back to the center? Try to regulate some of this with your breathing. Crown and tail, hands and feet. We have all these limbs. All right, and then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Feel free to shake. Move your head around, move your tail around. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine grows a little bit longer. And exhale and melt. Bend the knees again. Halfway lift again. Stretch through your crown and tail, radiating from the center of the body into expansion and then into condensement. Drop into the knees. Bend and then sink the hips down. Bend the knees. Rise all the way up. Bring the arms to the sky. Find that sense of length and space in the body. Open up through your heart. Cactus the arms. Feel the back body squeeze just a little bit. And then release and relax the hands down. Take your feet a little bit wider on the mat and find your breath. All right, so reach the arms in the air in a very comfortable way. So we don't have to be, striving for this. Just see if you can feel that your body can get expansive and big. Connect your center out to your limbs here in a different plane. All right, and then relax the arms. Stand in Tadasana in a very comfortable way. Feel the heart lift, collarbones expand. Turn the palms open. Feel the shoulder blades shine on the back a bit. Find your breathing. We're going to come up onto our tippy toes and feel your crown lift to the sky. Breathing, opening up your feet a bit, getting them strong. Okay, and then put your feet back down. One more time, up onto your toes. And if you wobble, that's okay. Just be where you are. Now bring your arms out, maybe to the sides, maybe up. See if you can get that feeling that you're growing and expanding. And then heels come down and float forward. Relax your head. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, right foot forward, left foot back. Come to a lunge. Expand through your spine. See if you can feel the crown to tail, crown to back heel length. Find that space. Find it in the back of the body and the front of the body. When you're ready, start to move a little bit, opening up the hamstring of the front leg. You can straighten your leg a little bit and then rebend. Follow the rhythm of your breathing. All right, and then come into a general lunge. Feel the grounding of your feet. So you can move from your center down into your legs all the way to your feet. So the sense of breathing and navel radiation and yielding kind of all share a lot of commonality. So as you rise up and find that sense of spaciousness in the upper body, and you can put your arms anywhere that feels nice. See if you can get that feeling that you're yielding, that you're grounding. Let your breath move deeply into your body. Center down through your legs. So navel down through both feet. Can you feel that long connection? Instead of just feeling like your legs are connected to your hips, connect them into your center. And then rise up, connect your center through your spine. See if you can reach the arms in the air and feel that your navel travels through your ribs into your arms. So everything honing from the center outward, and then plug back in. Maybe bend your arms, maybe bend your knees if that helps you plug back into the center. So finding both the reach and the condensement. It's a lot to think about. So try to think less and feel more. Walk your back foot forward, fold in half. Relax your neck. Inhale for a halfway lift. The spine grows. Exhale and melt back in again. Step your other foot back, coming into a lunge. Grounding yourself. Feel that sense of yielding. So reach and yield your feet into the ground and then rebound. Yield precedes push. So first yield, then push. And when you do push, does the yield give you something? Can you feel that you grow in space? And then start to move when you're ready. You can straighten and bend the front knee some, starting to feel the hip flexors of the back leg open, the hamstrings of the front leg open. Breathing well. All right, ground yourself. Feel your legs steady and then rise up. So put your arms anywhere that gives you best sense of being able to find this breathing, yielding, and then radiating from your center. So find the breath. Give yourself over to the yield and the push and the reach. Let the reach be from the center. So first yield, then push, and then reach from your center into all your limbs. You can focus on one spot. Maybe you can make yourself become aware of your legs, maybe aware of your upper body, your arms, maybe of your spine, crown tail connection. So you don't have to always be finding it everywhere. You can play and dance inside your awareness. All right, bring your hands back down, dog pose. Extending through the spine. Take your feet wide on the mat so you feel the edges of your feet at your pinkies. And find the breath. Let your wide legs free up the pelvis and low belly. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come forward into a plank. You can keep your feet there, or if you'd rather return them to neutral, do that. All right, so now as we find a sense of condensement that turns into contraction, condensement is a little bit different than the feeling you have now, which is a sense of working toward the midline. So see if you can still feel that the breath can move, that you can have condensement and expansion and support yourself. All right, put your knees down and find your way to the ground. Bring your arms out in front of you if your body's comfortable with that. If not, out to the side or down at your sides. Curl your toes under and let your legs go wider. So spread your legs a little bit wider. Feel that sense and rest your head down. You can turn your head one way or the other. And if you're comfortable here, just enjoy the sense of radiating from your center outward to your limbs in a different plane. Maybe something's easier to find here. Maybe the connection to your shoulder blades and to your arms coming from your center is a little bit easier to feel in the back of your body than the front of your body. Maybe the feeling of your sacrum connecting to your legs is a little easier here. So just sense what's different. And then we're going to start to let the breath let us travel naturally into a little extension and a little bit of condensement. So maybe on the in-breath, you feel like rising up a little bit into a back bend. Maybe on the exhale, you feel like relaxing a little bit more into the floor. Just have a progressive sequence of where your body naturally wants to go. Support with your core. Try not to let anywhere take over without support. Couple more movements. Where is your body leading you to? And then find your way back onto all fours and go ahead and move the spine around. So wag your tail in big swishes. See if you can move all the way to the shoulders. And then any kind of movement that's going to free up your spine, a cat, a cow, anything. And stretch back towards child's pose and open up the back of your body again. Breathe all the way down to your tail. All right, and then as you're ready, lengthen again, dog pose. You can have your feet wide or close, you choose. Relax your head, yield, push, and reach. Let the reach be from the center outward to the limbs. See if you can find that little sequence of yield your forelimbs to the earth and then push off the earth and extend from your navel out to all 6 of your limbs. And just go through a little bit of that flow with the breath. Where are you losing connection? Ground the index finger mounds. Release the neck. Support the shoulders. Hug your hands toward each other so you light up more muscles. You're not pulling yourself out of joints. All right, and then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Put your toes together, or if you prefer a block between your thighs for chair pose, let's find chair pose. So you can have your arms back or out or up, whatever feels nice for your shoulders, for your breathing. No matter what you're choosing, can you feel your navel connect to your hands? Can you feel your navel ground into your feet? Feel the spine. All right, inhale, rise all the way up. Release the hands down. Turn to the long edge of your mat and take your legs wide. Relax your shoulders for a moment. See if you can find a little bit of yielding, a little bit of pushing, and a little bit of reaching. Turn your right foot out, find your breath, anything you want with your arms as you float into Virabhadrasana 2. So you can do what I'm doing, just kind of move a little bit first, get your hips to enjoy the experience. Your pose can be up here. You do not have to be very deep in this pose. Your pose can be deeper. Your arms can be anywhere you want. So find the perfect place for your limbs to be. Organize your pelvis. You can let your pelvis turn a little bit toward your front knee. So just find what feels good. And then once you have a grounding of your limbs where they're comfortable, yield 2 feet into the ground. Push off the earth and expand from your center out to your limbs. Lose the striving if you're an overstriver. Strive a little more if you're an understriver. Know yourself. Know if you overdo or underdo. So can you balance stability with ease? Yield and push and reach from your center. Okay, reach the arm up. Lengthen here. Find your breath. And then find your way into Parsvakonasana. Find the extension in your body. What did you lose by changing position? Can you regain? Yield, push, and then reach. Can you reach from your center into all your limbs? So often we think of reaching with our arms. Reach with your legs. Reach both feet into the earth. See if you can feel the reach from your center, your navel, down through your legs into your feet. From your center, through your spine, not just to your crown, but to your tail as well. From your center, through your ribs, opening up your shoulders to your arms. Grounding your legs. Yield, push, and reach. Okay, and then rise back up. Turn your legs straight to the long edge again for a moment. Bend, narrow up your stance just a little bit and just kind of bend from one knee to the other. Loosen things up. Be a little more gentle and easy. Find your breath and then widen your legs again and find your way to the second side. As we find some flexion in our hip joint, remember that you can do this pose with a pretty good sized turn toward your front knee. You don't have to open up to the long edge of the mat, especially if that means your knee caves in and you kind of do a little weird tweak in your pelvis. Find some ease across your pelvis. Let your legs ground well. Okay, so once you get situated in your legs, find your arms. Relax the shoulders. We're not pinning ourselves up. We're dropping down. Relax something in your neck, your face, your gaze. And once you get organized in your limbs, yield 2 feet, even weight, and then push off the floor and feel the rebound through your body. Can you organize yourself around your center? Can you feel that you can move from your center down into your legs, grounding into the earth? Can you feel that line of the crown and tail moving from your center? Can you feel your center rise through your rib cage and out through your arms? Find these imaginary links, like you are a starfish. You have that nature of the belly being the brain, the center. Reach into all 6 limbs. Recondense back into the center. Just find that sense of fluidity, that the yielding and the pushing and the reaching and the breathing create a wave through your body, that you're fluid. Okay, reach up and lengthen. Feel free to straighten your leg for a moment if your thigh is burning and needs a break. And then find your way into Parsvottanasana. Open up the body. Doesn't matter where your limbs ended up. You can be much more narrow or high in your thigh bend. You can have your hands on your hip. A hand on your hip. You don't have to have your arm overhead. There's so many variations to be had. Find comfort in your limbs. And then reach into your body. Can you feel the navel radiation out into your feet? Drop in, yield, and push off that yield to expand into all 6 limbs. Breathe well. Soft shoulders. The navel does not have to crunch up your neck. Okay, so find ease. Belly brain. All right, and then come back to the long edge of your mat again. Straighten your legs. Shorten up your stance a little bit. One more time. Just find a little bit of ease. Okay. All right, so now we're going to, I think most of you have done this with me before, where you feel like your pelvis is a figure 8, okay? And, like you're looking down on your mat and your pelvis is a figure 8 in that direction. So we're going to move into the right and then move into the left. So we're bearing weight into your right foot, turning the pelvis, and then bearing weight into your left foot and turning the pelvis. So it almost feels like your pelvis can turn around your femur bone and then bear weight into the other side. Okay, so figure 8 your pelvis, bearing weight, and then add some arms. Where do your arms naturally go? There's lots of different positions that your arms can take in this posture. You don't have to have any one specific movement pattern. Okay, but see if you can find the yield, the push, and the movement. And maybe you start to explore what it feels like to yield, push, and reach. Okay, so try to let go of what you're supposed to look like, what you're supposed to be doing, and instead just feel a naturalness to this. Nobody's looking at you. Okay, you just get to kind of move. Just be a little seaweed-ish so that you can feel yourself yield into the earth and move off the earth. So find whatever movement pattern feels good to your body. Whatever you're doing, is there a sense that your limbs are moving away from your center? Connected, all movement originates from the breath, from yielding, and from the center. Okay. Drop a little lower if you want in your body. And then find a deep, low center of gravity, like goddess with your legs. Spread into your feet, lift your crown. Okay. All 6 limbs radiating from the center. All right, and then actually reach. And then actually condense. One more time. And then hang out in your goddess pose again. Just feel the center of your body. Let your breath travel from the center outward. All right, and then straighten your legs. Turn your feet forward and rest your hands either on blocks or on the floor. They can be out in front of you like dog pose arms. They can be directly underneath your shoulders, whatever feels good. We're going to drop weight into our right foot, stretch open the inner thigh of your left. So we're getting low, and if your body doesn't go low, that's okay. You just go where you go. Okay, and then come back up. Move over to the other side. You can be having your hands on the floor or on blocks. I have the ability to bend my knee pretty deeply, but maybe you don't, and that's okay. Just go where your body says it's okay. All right, come back to center. Walk the feet in, a nice wide squat here. Drop your hips so they're in line with your knees. Lean forward a little bit with your torso. Crown and tail moving away from center. All right, and then turn back. Lift your hips, turn back to the front of your mat. Dog pose. Legs are wide, turn your toes in a bit. Inner spiral the thighs. Lengthen through your spine. Root into the index finger mounds. Ground yourself. Yield, push, reach. Come to a plank. You can put your legs back to neutral. Hold yourself steady. Find the breath. And then put your knees down. Find your way all the way to the floor for what's comfortable for you. Maybe bring your arms down at your sides, maybe overhead. Any variation of super person pose that feels right. Lift on up. Exhale and melt back down. Come up onto all fours. I'm going to take weight into our right hand on the mat, Shavasana. So you can choose a variation. I'm going to stay on my knee. Head drop the shoulders away from the ears. Lift that arm in the air. Maybe lift your leg. And if you are having 2 feet on the ground and you're here still, maybe lift your leg. Just find that sense of being able to be self-supportive, shoulder blade down the back. So hug in toward the center and expand away from the center. Both. Yoga is filled with these dichotomies where we have to do 2 opposing actions and bring them into harmony. Come down onto all fours. Okay, rest a moment before we do the second side. And then when you're ready, you can have your knee down. You can have 2 feet down. You choose. Shoulder blade is down the back supporting. Open the chest. Maybe your leg lifts in the air. Find the breath. Whatever's touching the ground yields, pushes, opens up. Expand from your center outward. And then exhale and relax. Back onto all fours, child's pose. Melt a little bit here, relax. Come back to a lunge with your right foot forward and your left foot back. Now you may not, this might be a pose that's a little unavailable to you, and if that's the case, then you can stand up and do a quad stretch. So we're gonna lean a little bit forward, place your left hand down onto the ground, reach your right arm behind you and pick up your foot for a quad stretch. If that's not available for your body, you can stand up and do a standing quad stretch. You can hold on to something if you need to. So just find your breath, move into the stretch, whatever feels good in your body. If you're in the lunge, make sure you're coming forward onto the quad a little bit instead of just directly onto your kneecap. Open your breath. And then relax. Child's pose. Feel the deep compression in the hips. And then as you're ready, let's move to the second side. Okay, so find your way. If you're on the ground, you're going to take your right hand on the ground, reach back with your left arm and grab onto your right foot. Open the chest. If you're standing up, you just grab your foot, knee down, tailbone down, pubic bone toward the belly button. All right, open across your collarbones. Feel a sense of grounding. Where is the navel radiation now? All right, and then go ahead and relax and come out of the pose, child's pose. If navel radiation is something that you're curious about, go back into my library, and I think there's a class called Fluid Body. I think that's what I titled it. Go back to that class and see. I'll see if there's any others that are kind of tucked in there too, but it's a good class to kind of feel into this freedom of the fluidity of moving from your center instead of always lockstep with your limbs doing all the work all by themselves. Okay. All right, let's flip over onto our back and come into a bridge pose. You get to decide whether your bridge is active or passive. You can have a block between your thighs. You can have a block under your pelvis. You can have no block. So just decide what feels nice to your body. If you're not using a block, well, even if you are, ground your feet. Let your breath move. All right, let's go ahead and rest and melt back down. Feet onto the floor, relax your spine. Deep breath in. Deep breath away. Grab onto your strap. Okay. We're going to stay here for a moment. Reach your right foot up in the air. Loop the strap around your foot. If you don't have a strap, you can just hold behind your thigh with your interlaced fingers. We're going to do Supta Tadasana 1, 2, and 3. So your left leg can be straight on the floor, or you can bend your left knee and put your foot on your floor. Whatever feels best to your body. So before you go anywhere, feel that your shoulders are relaxed. Have enough give on the strap where your shoulders are not yanked up toward your foot. Move the right femur bone in your hip joint away from the shoulder. And even in a position like this, can you find the radiation from your navel to your crown and your tail? Get long in your spine. Soften your head and your shoulders. Let them drop down. Let's open the leg, the right leg out to the right so you can hold the strap with the right hand. The left leg can be on the floor. The left foot can be on the floor with the knee bent. You can even let your left knee fall out to the left. So find the pathway that supports you best. Still radiating from your center out to your limbs. Where are the missing links? You know, if we have the sense of when you see people who are really coordinated, or when you feel really coordinated in your movement, this is part of it, that we connect our center to our limbs. Let's go ahead and bring that leg straight up in the air. Take the strap into the left hand and cross the right leg over to the left. Still feeling the femur bone move away from the shoulder. Still feeling the crown and tail lengthen. Maybe stretch your right arm out so that you have that capacity to still feel that you're expanding even though your leg is crossing. And then bring that leg back up 2 feet into the strap for a moment so you can feel into this evenness, even though your legs may not feel even right now. Move the femur bones, both of them, away from the shoulders and elongate the spine. When you're ready, take the right foot out of the strap and put it on the floor. And feel the extension through the spine. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Reach up through the left foot, reach down through the left hip. Move the left hip away from the shoulder. Deep breaths here. How's your right leg? Is it in the position you want it to be in? Is it supporting you? All right, let's open up the left leg out to the left. Feel that sense of extension through the spine. Breathe well into your body. All right, and then lift that left leg back to center. Cross the left leg over to the right. Maybe your hand kind of hooks into that left hip crease to help the hip move away from the shoulder. Maybe your arm goes wide and you have this sense of still being able to yield, push, and reach. Fill yourself with breath. All of these things cannot happen if you're not breathing. If you're trying to feel a sense of connection or fluidity in the body, the breath has to be a part of that wave. If you're holding your breath, you're just going to lock everything up. And there's a way to be strong and stable and free. That you can have both. You can have your cake and eat it too. You do not have to sacrifice ease for stability. You do not have to sacrifice stability for ease. Okay, come back up and then lower your legs back down. Bring the knees into the chest and rock a little bit. Starfish, open your body like we always do in the beginning of class. Connect your center through your right arm, through your left arm, through your right leg, through your left leg, through your crown, through your tail, through all your limbs. And then condense, hug back in. Maybe pick your head up if it feels good. And then rest your head back down onto the ground. Grab your 2 blocks or blankets, whatever feels good. Soles of the feet come together. The blocks are underneath your outer hips, very supportive. So we're not doing a deep open pose. We're just supporting our legs in Supta Baddha Konasana. And if this is not your favorite way of being in this pose, find your props and do your thing. If you can, let your arms spread out a little bit if this is comfortable to your shoulders. Melt the head. So much of the time we pick up our head unconsciously, where we feel like we have to grip, we have to tense, and we wonder why our necks hurt all the time. So let there be ease. Let your spine and your head rest down. Breathe into the open rib cage, diaphragm, belly, pelvis, throat, all the opening, the vulnerability, and you open into it. Let all of your limbs drop into the support. So change any position with your body, your knees, your arms, whatever needs more or less support so that you can really drop. As you're here in Supta Baddha Konasana, start to find that your breath takes the channels from your navel to your crown and your tail, from your navel through your chest, your sternum, your arms to your hands. Back home again. From your navel to your legs. Passing through the pelvis, hip joints, all the way to your feet. And back home again. So just practice the energetic connection wherever you want. The legs, the arms, one leg, one arm, crown, tail, all of your limbs together. Whatever feels nourishing to your connections, your sense of interoception. Make sure you're dropping into the earth at the same time. So let your head rest, let your shoulders rest, let your spine rest, let your legs rest. Part of learning navel radiation is learning to free up our belly. We hold so much tension in our center oftentimes. What can you do to let everything be free? There's nothing you have to hold on to in your center body. There's no support that's needed right now. There's no sucking it in that's required. You get to be fully expansive and free. As you're ready, get your legs out of that position and just lay them straight. If you need to bring your knees into your chest for a moment, that's fine. And then spend the last few minutes of class just letting your body rest in Shavasana. To readjust to whatever position is comfortable for your body. Any support that you need, any warmth that you need. Let your whole body rest on the floor. All your limbs are supported. Your center body is supported. Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. Let your breath be free. Can you feel one more time that sense of very gentle flow of rivers of the breath moving from your center, feeding your limbs. Your limbs bringing that earthen support back into the center. Just find any movement that feels good in the body to support you. And take a deep breath in. Roll over onto your side. Pause. Curl into a little ball. Feel that sense of support around your center. And use the floor. Push off the floor. Yield and push to reach to sit up. Once you find yourself settling into a comfortable seat, once again, find that sense of the channels of flow from your center outward and back. The sense of coordination that you are one being with the center, belly, brain. Palms at your heart. Practice shining your light from your center outward. That sun that we worked with in the beginning of class, put it right in your belly and expand your light. Put it in your heart and expand your light. And yet put another one in the center of your mind and expand your light. Let's share this beautiful light of our being with others. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a blessed day filled with light,